The moment my husband slid his wedding ring across the dinner table, I knew something was wrong. But I never expected his next words. "I was wrong to marry you." The room went silent. Then, in front of his parents and two close friends, he demanded the ring back, told me to pack my things, and said he wanted me out of the house by morning. I didn't argue. I handed him the ring, packed a suitcase, and left. The next afternoon, I realized I had forgotten something important. So, I went back. I unlocked the front door, walked inside, and froze. Because someone was already living there. My name is Emma Carter, and I was 38 years old the night my husband ended our marriage with a single sentence. It happened during what was supposed to be a normal Friday dinner. The table was set. Candles burned softly between us. I had spent 2 hours cooking Daniel's favorite meal because he had been distant for weeks, and I thought maybe we needed a quiet evening together. Instead, he stared at his plate and barely touched his food. Finally, he placed his fork down. "Emma, I was wrong to marry you." At first, I honestly thought I had misheard him. "What?" His expression never changed. "I want my ring back." The words felt unreal. Across the table, his parents exchanged uncomfortable glances. They had arrived unexpectedly 30 minutes earlier, supposedly to discuss family plans. Now I understood why. This wasn't a conversation. It was an audience. "Daniel, what are you talking about?" I asked. "I'm done pretending this marriage works." Then he held out his hand. "Give me the ring." My heart pounded, but I refused to cry. Not in front of everyone. Slowly, I removed the wedding ring I had worn for 11 years and placed it in his palm. "Pack your things tonight," he said coldly. "I want you out by morning." Nobody stopped him. Nobody defended me. An hour later, I zipped my suitcase shut. As I walked toward the door, I noticed something strange. A second toothbrush sat beside Daniel's sink. And it definitely wasn't mine. I barely slept that night. The image of that extra toothbrush kept replaying in my mind. Daniel had acted like our marriage suddenly failed, but nothing about his behavior felt sudden anymore. By noon the next day, I was staying at a small hotel across town when I realized I had forgotten something important. My grandmother's necklace. It wasn't expensive, but it was the last gift she had ever given me. I knew exactly where it was. Inside the top drawer of my bedroom dresser. So I drove back to the house. Daniel's car wasn't in the driveway. For a moment, I felt relieved. I unlocked the front door and stepped inside. Then I froze. A woman's coat hung beside Daniel's jacket. I had never seen it before. My stomach tightened. Slowly, I walked toward the hallway. The house smelled different. Vanilla perfume floated through the air. Then I heard movement upstairs. Footsteps. A drawer opening. Someone was there. My pulse hammered as I climbed the stairs. The bedroom door was partially open. I pushed it wider. A woman stood beside my dresser. She wasn't surprised to see me. In fact, she looked confused. "Oh," she said. "You're home early." Home. The word hit me like a punch. She glanced around awkwardly. "Daniel said you'd already moved out." I stared at her. Then at the clothes hanging inside my closet. Half of mine were gone. Half had been replaced. That was the moment I realized the truth. She hadn't just arrived. She'd been living here already. I wanted to confront her immediately. Instead, I took a breath and asked a simple question. "How long have you been here?" The woman hesitated. Then her expression shifted from confidence to concern. "Daniel said your divorce was finalized months ago." My stomach dropped. "Divorce?" I repeated. "We're still legally married." The color drained from her face. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she quietly sat on the edge of the bed. "My name is Rachel," she said. "I think we've both been lied to." Over the next hour, we compared stories. Daniel had told her he was single. He claimed his ex-wife refused to move on and occasionally stopped by to create drama. According to Rachel, he had been saying that for nearly a year. Nearly a year. While pretending our marriage was fine. Before leaving, I opened the dresser drawer and retrieved my grandmother's necklace. That should have been the end of it. But something caught my attention. A folder sitting on Daniel's desk. The tab read Future Plans. My heart raced as I opened it. Inside were printed emails, financial notes, and a detailed timeline. Apartment lease, furniture purchases, vacation reservations. Everything was organized by date. The earliest documents were 10 months old. 10 months. That meant Daniel had started building a new life long before he demanded his ring back. Then I found the final page. A handwritten note in his own writing. Ask Emma to leave before October. The breakup wasn't emotional. It was scheduled. And suddenly everything made sense. 3 days later, Daniel invited both families to his parents' house. According to his text message, he wanted to clear up misunderstandings and discuss the divorce like mature adults. I knew exactly what that meant. He planned to control the narrative. When I arrived, everyone was already seated. Daniel sat confidently at the head of the table. Rachel was beside him. His parents offered sympathetic smiles. As if I were the problem. Daniel cleared his throat. Emma and I grew apart, he began. I've tried for years to make things work, but she checked out of the marriage. Several heads nodded. Then he added, Rachel came into my life afterward. I almost laughed. The lie was so effortless. Rachel looked down at the table. Uncomfortable. Guilty. Maybe both. When Daniel finally finished, his mother sighed dramatically. I just hope everyone can move forward peacefully. That was my cue. I opened my folder. Before we do that, I said calmly, I think everyone should see this. I placed copies of the timeline on the table. The room fell silent. Lease agreements, vacation reservations, furniture purchases. Everything dated months before our separation. Then I revealed the handwritten note. Ask Emma to leave before October. Daniel's face turned pale. His father grabbed the paper. Is this real? Nobody answered. They didn't need to. The dates spoke for themselves. Then Rachel slowly stood. Her eyes locked on Daniel. You told me she was gone. Daniel opened his mouth. Nothing came out. For the first time all evening, he had no story left to tell. The meeting ended less than 20 minutes later. Nobody wanted to stay after the truth came out. Rachel left first. She didn't yell. She didn't create a scene. She simply handed Daniel her house key and walked out the door without looking back. His parents followed soon after. The disappointment on their faces said more than words ever could. For the first time since our marriage ended, Daniel was completely alone. The divorce process moved quickly after that. Once the evidence was presented, there wasn't much left to argue about. The timeline spoke for itself. Months of planning. Months of deception. Months of pretending. Meanwhile, I focused on rebuilding my life. I moved into a small apartment near the river. It wasn't as large as the old house, but it felt peaceful. Everything inside belonged to me. Every photo. Every piece of furniture. Every decision. No secrets. No lies. Just a fresh start. A few months later, I heard through mutual friends that Daniel's carefully planned future had collapsed. Rachel was gone. Several friendships had ended. Even some family relationships never fully recovered. The life he spent months designing disappeared almost overnight. One evening, nearly a year later, I walked past a jewelry store and stopped at the window. For a moment, I thought about the ring I had handed back that night. Then I smiled, because I finally understood something important. The ring was never what mattered. Respect mattered. Trust mattered. Honesty mattered. And the day Daniel demanded that ring back, he didn't take something from me. He revealed exactly who he was. That was the real gift.